Bonjour, 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 and welcome back to the Waves of Your Soul. I am your humble French tarot reader / tech goblin marine, and today I'm so excited to be sharing with you this gorgeous new deck from Logan from Larkin Legend, which is the Pink Sugar Oracle, as I absolutely adore everything that Logan does, and this is their newest deck, as there's going to be a Kickstarter for this deck. Will start, I believe, on the 11th of February and will run until the 4th of March. This is a preview ahead of the Kickstarter. Logan was so kind to send a prototype my way so I could share it with you guys. Of course, I'm gonna be making sure to leave the link to the Kickstarter campaign in the description box. And this is a deck I've been really enjoying working with in the last few weeks, so I wanted to share it with you guys as this deserves to be brought out in the world. This Kickstarter deserves to succeed, and I think a lot of you will enjoy this deck as well because one, it's absolutely gorgeous, and two, it's a very versatile oracle deck. So let's talk about it. So for those of you who don't know who Logan is, they are here on YouTube as Lark and Legends, and they are the creator of not only the Pink Sugar Oracle, but the Black Salt Tarot. They also are the creator of the Black Salt Oracle, as well as the Lilac Lenormand, and other fantastic Lenormand decks. Logan has already created and successfully funded many Kickstarter campaigns, many decks. They are super talented, and so this is their latest creation. So before we get into it, I just want to let you know that this is a prototype, so the foil on some of the card is not going to be as impactful as the finished product. The finished product, the foil, will look even more impacting. Logan has sent one of the finished decks my way. I've not received them yet. When I do, I'll make sure to share it with you guys. I really want to do a video where I share with you like all of my decks from Logan, like a mini collection. But for now, I wanted to make a dedicated video to the Pink Sugar Oracle, as whilst this is a prototype, it's still the same amount of card, just the foiling that on some of the card looks a little bit less impactful as the finished product, which will look even more beautiful. Before I get into it, of course, in the description box, I'm gonna make sure to leave the Kickstarter campaign for this, which, like I said, starts on the 11th of February all the way to the 4th of March. I will make sure to leave Logan's channel, Lark and Legend. You can check out their YouTube channel as well. In the description box, you will find my other social media links, as well as my other channel, The Waves of Your Soul Readings, where I post tarot readings, monthly guidance, pick a card readings, and where I get to use all of the beautiful decks that I share with you on this channel. So without further ado, let's get into this Kickstarter preview of the Pink Sugar Oracle. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. So of course, I want to say a huge thank you to Logan for sending the prototype my way. I absolutely adore them. They are such a talented creator, and they poured out their soul into each of their decks, and you're going to see that in today's video for sure. So the Pink Sugar Oracle is a 56 Oracle deck. The box looks like this. We have these beautiful pasties, which is one of the cards of the deck on the back. We see in the back it says "Find Magic in the Mundane" with these 56 dazzling cards and chunky little guidebook. Are starting to see the gorgeous foil that is going to be very impactful, and that is really one of the trademarks from Logan's decks. They usually work with foil like this, and this is their first time doing a pink deck. I love pink personally. I think pink brings so much joy. We need all the joy we can get in the world right now, and that's why I'm so happy that they are doing this deck. So this is actually a pink version of their Black Salt Oracle. This is a deck that was kickstarted and created last year. I backed this one on Kickstarter, and we have, again, as you can see, beautiful foiling. This time it's in this holo effect. Again, 56 cards. So this black version is already out in the world, and Logan has now made a pink version. It's the same cards on both. We have the same cards, the same artwork. So as you can see, here we have the Black Salt Oracle, and here we have the upcoming Pink Sugar Oracle. Whilst I have both, and I have been using both, I actually can tell you that they hold very different energies. So even if you have this one and you enjoy it, I think you would still very much enjoy working with this one, because energetically, in terms of the egregore of the deck, they hold very different energies. This one feels a little bit more grown-up and serious in its tone, whilst it's the same artwork. I'm talking really energy-wise here. And this one feels a little bit more whimsical, childlike, and a little bit more sweet and that's probably coming from the color choices, from the pink. So I have found myself working with both for different kinds of readings, and I found myself really enjoying working with both, as whilst the artwork is the same, they really hold very different energies. Because right now the world feels like a trash can on fire, this one has definitely been my go-to, because like I said, this deck energetically feels like a little bit more sweet, a little bit more whimsical, a little bit more childlike, and even a little bit more gentle. So let's talk about it. In terms of the box, we have this beautiful box with a clasp which opens like this. You have a little ribbon, you have a little bit of details here, as you can see, that are coming out, these gorgeous lace details, and again this gorgeous pink foil on the box. As far as the oracle cards go, we have the backs that look like this, with again this gorgeous pink foiling on the back. It's simple, but I find it very elegant, and I absolutely adore the sides, which are in this light pink matte, very beautiful. And we have the same pink matte in the guidebook, which is very unique. I don't know if you can tell, I think you can tell if I do this. The sides of the guidebooks have been edged in this light pink matte as well, which looks very elegant and very beautifully produced. So I love those little attention to details. Of course, we'll talk about the guidebook in a bit. I want to start talking about the cards though. So like I said, beautiful pink matte edging. In terms of the size, I think we're a little bit shorter than regular tarot size. I use a regular tarot deck. You're gonna see that the oracle size is a little bit shorter, but about the same width. I was telling you earlier, we have 56 cards, which I love. You know, I love a chunky oracle deck. Anything above 44 makes me so happy. In terms of the cardstock, it's a matte cardstock, and I think it's probably 400 GSM. I'm not very good at cardstock. You guys know I'm not a cardstock snob, so you'll have to check the Kickstarter campaign, as I'm sure the details will be put on there, but it feels like 400 to me. And like I said, matte cardstock, but shuffles really nice. It doesn't clump together at all. It's really easy to shuffle. I'm pretty sure it's the same cardstock as Logan's other decks, so if you are familiar with that, I don't think you'll be surprised at all. I have used this deck, so it's not in order, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go through it, look at each card, and then of course we'll go into the guidebook, and then I'll share with you some of my favorite pairings, as I've been really enjoying working with this deck, so I want to share with you the decks I've enjoyed using it with. So like I said, this is a prototype, so on some of the cards the foil isn't as impactful as it will be on the finished product. This is one of the cards where I believe the foil is like it will be on the finished product, and as you can see, it has so much beautiful reflect. We have like purple and pink, light pink, dark pink, magenta. It is so gorgeous. So this is what the deck will look like. Absolutely adore this detail. Again, for the foil, and then we'll talk about the guidebook, but you can see here with this gorgeous foil, this is one of the cards that has the correct foil on it, and as you can tell, it's so beautiful. We have purple, pinks, just really gorgeous. It's not too much. Depending how you put the cards on, you don't get blinded by it, but it's just a really nice touch that when it does catch the light, it brings a little bit of extra sparkle, and it's just really well done. Beautiful production quality. So let's talk about the deck. As you're gonna see, the Pink Sugar Oracle is a deck full of objects from the everyday, objects that we are expected to recognize from people's homes, potentially our own homes. And the way that Logan has worked them is that each normal everyday object has been given a certain spiritual meaning or a divination meaning. I really love this idea of bringing magic to the mundane, of using everyday things like rice, for example, which are something that a lot of us eat every day or at least a few times a week, and giving those a particular divination meaning or a certain spiritual meaning. Strengths of this deck being so rooted in the day-to-day, being so rooted in things that we're gonna see and recognize, is that it helps us to remember that even in our mundane life, even in our day-to-day life, we can find synchronicities, we can find little ways that our guides, the universe, our higher self, whatever you guys believe in, communicating with us through day-to-day objects that we might either see in our homes or that we might recognize from, TV shows, from books, and from just the world in general. Bringing those objects into our card reading practice helps us remember that even in the day-to-day life, where potentially sometimes we feel disconnected, can find ways to come back to our center, to come back to our soul, and to reconnect with higher powers, with our higher self, and with something that is larger than us. I absolutely love this idea of like using day-to-day objects to bring some magic and to bring some guidance to our day-to-day life, which really is the strength of this deck. What I love about this deck as well is that even on the objects that I'm potentially not super familiar with, as for example we had the rabbit's foot, which is not something that I personally have in my home, the guidebook that Logan has written is very chock full of information, very in-depth, and gives you not only a meaning or guidance for divination and for your readings, but also will give you their own point of view as to what has inspired their creation of this deck. So behind each card, the guidebook will tell you exactly why they decided to draw chicken feet, what is there a story behind it, is there a memory behind it, what was the inspiration. And reading Logan's point of view in the guidebook, reading their particular inspiration, helps you to really connect and bond with the deck so much easier, because even for things that potentially you're not the most familiar with, like pepperoncini, for example, is not something we really have in Reunion Island, although we have chilies, which are a certain form of, which are kind of similar to this. Reading the guidebook and reading why Logan was inspired to draw this really suddenly gives you an added layer to the deck. It helps you bond with it, and for me, it made me really understand all of the cards and help me bond with the deck so much quicker. Like I said, I've been loving using the Black Salt Oracle, which has the same artwork. However, I find that the two of them have very different energies. This one, whilst it's the same artwork, the fact that it's in pink, energetically wise, in the terms of its egregore, it feels very gentle, very whimsical, and almost childlike in its energy, whilst it has these very mundane objects like day-to-day things that you might find in the kitchen, in a bedroom, or in someone's home. Also brings this little whimsy through the little details that have been added. As with a lot of the decks from Logan, inspiration comes from video games, comes from manga, comes from anime, and that's something that I also personally very much resonate with. For example, as you're gonna see here, we have a little bit of an added inspiration that is very Sailor Moon. You're gonna see we have some little inspiration from Zelda. It's all in the detail, but those little details that are inspired from either, like I was saying, anime, video games, things like pop culture, those little details also bring a bit of whimsy and childlike wonder to me, which have brought a lot of joy in my readings. So I have absolutely been loving using this lately, especially right now. I feel like the world needs some joy, we need something a little bit whimsical, and the fact that this embrace the mundane and the magical side, it helps me to remember that the world can be beautiful, the world can be magical, that the world can hold some meaning and some whimsy and some magic even when I potentially fail to look at it. I absolutely adore this card. This is one of my favorite cards, the door knocker. If I could have a home that had a door knocker like this, I would be so happy. I would knock on my own door all the time. So in terms of how it reads, obviously you could assign your own meanings to each of the cards. For example, headphones, maybe for you it relates to listening to music and paying attention to what you listen to or to who you listen to. Maybe for some of you it's about hiding the noise from the world and protecting yourself. Maybe for some of you it relates to your job because you work in the music industry or you work with music in some form or another. Everyone is gonna assign different meanings because they are so rooted in, because these objects are so common to us and so familiar. Of course, the guidebook will give you some meanings as well, so you're not left to your own devices. And like I said, I will make sure to share with you the guidebook. We're gonna read from it. This is another one of my favorite cards. I love that we have a makeup brush. In what other decks do you see a makeup brush, right? Something we never see in any oracle deck, and yet it's something a lot of us use every day to bring a bit of magic, to bring a bit of joy to our day. So knuckle dusters, this crack me up. I don't have them, but they feel very Aries in energy and I'm an Aries, so I can relate. In terms of how this deck reads, because there's 56 cards, there's definitely a good array of meanings. So there's really a good equilibrium in the sense of not just the objects presented, but the meaning behind them. For example, with the knuckle duster, you could talk about defending yourself, attacking, defending, potentially getting angry or wanting to fight. With the mirror here, we're talking potentially about introspection, about looking within, or about other people being mirrors to ourselves. With pasties here, we could be talking about sensuality, sexuality, feeling confident in your body. There are definitely lots of ways you can read each card, and the variety of cards makes this a very balanced oracle deck, which if you guys have watched my channel before, you know that it's very important for me to have an oracle deck that feels balanced, as I oftentimes want to pair them with tarot, and tarot is very balanced. So to have an oracle deck that is not just love and light, it really helps me to make sure that it's well balanced, that it has good equilibrium, and that it can pair with tarot really well, which this does. We have the planchette here for a more spiritual card, and here we have the charging cable for potentially talking about recharging your batteries, potentially talking about needing to put yourself on plane mode. Maybe you need to recharge your batteries, maybe you need to check the amount of time you spend on social media or with your electronic devices. There's many ways you could think about this particular card. All of us will have a certain association with these because this is such a part of our day-to-day life, right? We are all bound to these little cables. It's nice to be able to bring some magical meaning to our day-to-day objects. One of my favorite things about this deck is how dynamic the artwork is. While each card is presenting a different object, the fact that a lot of the times the object is not in the center, but that it either comes out of a certain place or that there's object. For example, here you can see we have the cable, here you can see K-pop, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Those little details make the artwork feel very dynamic, and it's visually very pleasing to see not just an object in the middle, but the way that Logan has designed it, the way that everything feels like it's coming out of the card. It brings these objects to life. So it was a beautiful detail, made the artwork really pop out and feel dynamic. I love this orchid card, it's gorgeous. Orchids are one of my mom's favorite flowers, so that always makes me think of her when I see it. Bookmark, here we could be talking about potentially putting things on pause, pinning things for revisiting later, or it could be inviting you to take up a good book, cozying in a corner, pick up your book, and depending on context, depending on the reading, there's many ways you could read with this, which makes this deck so versatile. We have lure, spiderweb, mask, absolutely beautiful. We have cannabis, chrysanthemum, needle and thread, English ivy. As you're gonna see hopefully on the camera, the backgrounds are not just plain pink. We have every time beautiful like embroidery style or little lace background. They really pop against the foil and against the white of the artwork. So in terms of production quality, everything is just so well thought out and beautiful. Last few cards, we have the trowel, we have heirloom, another one of my favorite cards. It's so beautiful, this one. It feels very special and like you're finding a treasure in your grandma's box. So beautiful. I love it so much. And last card, we have ginkgo. Look at this. Ooh, it's so beautiful and magical. Absolutely adore that. So let's pull a card and read from the guidebook. So let's pull a little card. What message do we need to know as a collective at this moment in time for anyone watching? What do we need to know for our day, for our week, for everyone watching? We have coffee. Ooh, yeah. I could do with some coffee. Personally, I'm feeling exhausted. The start of the year has felt like a drag, honestly, and this is why I said like I've been so enjoying this deck, because it brings some beautiful colors, some joy, some cuteness, some sparkle, some life. So let's see what this card has to say, and let's look at the guidebook. In terms of the guidebook, you will see that first up, I wanted to shout out, we have a table of content and we have numbers for each of the cards, and it's alphabetically written. Thank you, Logan. Because that may seem simple, but yet I can't tell you the amount of oracle decks that I own where not only we don't have table of contents to find the meaning, but on top of that the cards are not put in alphabetical order, and then you're trying to find your card and it takes ages. Here, whilst the cards are not numbered, they are all alphabetically ordered, so it makes finding your card super easy, and I'm just so grateful for that. It's those little details that make your life as a reader so much easier. So that's the first thing about got the guidebook. At the back of the guidebook, you have a few spreads, about 5 spreads, a deck interview one, you have a relationship one, you have a banishment one, and a couple of others I will leave as surprise, so you get some great spreads to get you started as well. And let's read out of the guidebook for the coffee card so you guys can see how it reads. And if you don't want to hear my froggy French accent, you are welcome to pause the video and read it for yourself. But if not, I will happily read it to you guys. So for coffee, we have keywords awaken and regularity. And on this side, we have what Logan calls a deeper look, which is the guidance or divination message. And then on the right, you always have the creator's lens, which is what I was telling you guys, the inspiration, artistic inspiration, memory, real object that has inspired the actual drawing of the card. So this is like a little insight into the creation of this deck, whereas this is your message. So when coffee appears in a reading, it can serve as your alarm call, beckoning you to wake up and start your day. If you've been sleeping on a given situation, coffee might ask you to wake up and smell the coffee. If you've been functioning on autopilot, coffee can urge you to increase your awareness, take the wheel, actively directing your future. In another sense, coffee is the card of routine and can denote things occurring reliably or predictably. It can warn if you're in danger of forming unhealthy new habits or if you're entering unhealthy new routines with yourself or others. Coffee can represent dependency and jittery nerves. Lastly, as a force for reliably inducing specific bodily functions, it can also represent catalyst. This cracks me up, and yet I love that. I love how Logan manages to give you lots of pointers, lots of ways as you could read this card. Potentially, this is inviting you to wake up, this is inviting you to letting go of certain things, this is inviting you to checking the ways that you have taken some unhealthy habits. Again, obviously, depending on context, your questions, different meanings will apply, but I love that we have lots of different pointers and different guidance that we can apply to our reading. And then in terms of the creator's lens, how could we have a deck without coffee in it, right? Coffee is holy, delicious, and beautiful, and it had to be in this deck. I'm a coffee drinker, but I only drink decaf. I know, if it's decaf, it's pointless. Hear me out. I drink coffee because I love the taste of it. Sure, the extra energy can be nice for some, but once you've given up caffeine for a decade and then return to it, it doesn't give you a nice little pep in your step. What it gives you is a jittery mess of nerves. I stopped drinking caffeine after a heart condition scare as a teen, thanks to energy drinks, and since then I just can't be bothered to fuck with anything that races my heart. So I'm elated that I can still enjoy decaf. I saw coffee as regularity in another deck and it cracked my shit up, so of course I had to bring that into my own deck. I chose to illustrate it as pour over coffee simply because I think pour overs look damn cool. So as you can see, these creators' lens really give you a little glimpse into Logan's inspiration, Logan's life, Logan's personality, and reading every single one of these creators' lens for each of the card has really helped me bond with the deck. It just made me feel very close with the creator, and I just find this so insightful, so joyful, and just so personal, which is nice. You know, if you are using a deck, it's so lovely to be able to get glimpses into the person who created it, into the inspiration behind it, into the memories, into stories. So I absolutely adore this particular guidebook. I adore specifically the creator's lens. It's something I wish more creators did, giving us more a glimpse into a behind the scene. I think it's such a powerful way for us to bond with the deck. This is so well done. Logan can be super proud of themselves because they've done fantastic with this one. So now let's look at some pairing ideas, some decks I've been enjoying using with this, just to give you guys some ideas. If you are wondering what deck you could use it with, I just want to have a fun time sharing with you some cute pairings, so let's get into it. So one of my current favorite manga / anime inspired deck is the Cardamom Dream. This is an indie deck I had back on Kickstarter, and because a lot of the artwork here, whilst it's day-to-day inspired on the Oracle deck, a lot of it still has some nodes and inspiration from anime and like Japanese culture. I find that these are just so great together. So any kind of like anime or manga inspired decks will go fantastic with this one. Just to give you a little glimpse, so here we have Judgment, Terrarium, and 8 of Cups. Let's do a few. We have 10 of Swords, Furin, and 2 of Pentacles. See, so beautiful. Here you could think about, okay, there's something ending here. It feels potentially a little bit painful with the 10 of Swords. However, With the furring, we have an idea of something being cleansed, a spiritual calling. Maybe your soul is hiding a certain call, allowing you from this painful ending to pick up new things that will be more aligned with you. So beautiful ways that this oracle deck can work with tarot. I think it brings another addition to your readings. We have Death, Chicken Feet, and Six of Swords. How beautiful and powerful. Chicken feet being related to protection, talisman, to things that can protect you. So love that. We have the Two of Cups, Teapot, and Ten of Cups. So maybe this is inviting you to spill some tea about your relationship. Maybe you're invited to have a good gossip with your special loved ones, with your family, or maybe you're just invited to share with your family or loved ones how much you love them. Share a beautiful moment having tea with your family or with your partner. There's just so many ways you could read with this. So that's one of my favorite pairing. I think any kind of manga or anime deck would go so well with this one, because this is so rooted in modern day. Also found that a lot of my decks that were rooted in modern day worked so well with it, mainly the Cosmic Cycle Tarot. This is an indie deck, super popular. I know so many of you have it and enjoy it. I really enjoy it myself, and these are great, not just in terms of the fact that they are both very modern inspired, but in also the color coding, as this has a lot of pinks and purples in it as well, and they just look great together energetically. They go really well together as well. So look, the Knight of Swords with the ink brush, the King of Pentacles with Sakura, beautiful, this earth energy with this earth energy, Nine of Pentacles with necklaces, and look, she's shopping. Maybe she's shopping for a necklace, maybe she's shopping for her bestie, looking for a gift with the friendship necklace here. Queen of Cups with onions, talking about layers, talking about going within to explore your heart, your emotion. Nine of Swords with a slingshot. Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe you need to rebel against your anxiety, take action, defend yourself against potentially energies or people who are affecting your mental health. Three of Cups with coin person. Look, they've gone shopping. Talk about going shopping with your friends, treating yourself. The Fool with black candle, protect your inspiration, protect your new endeavor, protect your new journey. As you can see, they just go really well, and I love how these looks together. I think energetically and in terms of meanings, these are just fantastic. Let's do one more. Ace of Swords with sparkler. How sweet, right? This is so joyful. Ace of Swords and spark. Talk about a spark of inspiration, a spark of idea. Very Ace of Swords. So Cosmic Cycle Tarot with the Pink Sugar Oracle are so great together. Another strength I have found for the Pink Sugar Oracle is that it works really well for relationship readings as well. The fact that it's pink, it's giving that sweet romantic love vibe. And so with a deck like the Final Rose Tarot, for example, which is an indie deck that is all about relationship, this is pink extravaganza eleganza. Okay, this is category is pink, realness, pink, everything. And these two are so joyful together. You want to do a love reading that is pink, 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 and more pink, and that is very much rooted in the everyday. These are just so fun together. I've absolutely adored them together. I'm not sure if this is still in print, if it's on pause or not. At one point it was out of print, then it came back. I'm not 100% sure, but let me tell you, these two together are such a joy. I have used it for friends recently for love readings, and they were just so great together because this is inspired by reality TV show, specifically love reality TV show like The Bachelor. So it's very rooted in the everyday, and because the Pink Sugar is also very rooted in the everyday, they are just so fun together. I think, look, we have dumbbells with with like the Wheel of Fortune, Destiny. These are just, yeah, super fun. If you want pink eleganza extravaganza for your romantic readings, these two are just a joy. Here is the Rainbow Tarot, which is a mass market deck. This is a very cute and colorful mass market deck that has ended up being a workhorse for me, and if any kind of, like, again, cute deck like this, very colorful, is such a joy with the Pink Sugar. I absolutely have adored these two together because, again, it's the colors, it's the vibrancy, it's the cuteness. They are just meant to be be together anyway, really. So this is another beautiful pairing I've really enjoyed with these two, the Rainbow Tarot and the Pink Sugar. There's a lot of pinks in that deck. They just feel to be very like a good match in energy. It's that childlike energy, that whimsical energy, sweet energy that I was talking to you guys about. Whilst the Black Salt Oracle, I ended up pairing more with black and white decks, or with a little bit more serious decks, I would say. These, the Pink Sugar just loves to be with cute decks, colorful decks, whimsical decks, joyful decks. Look at this, the Moon with Cannabis. How good is that, right? Talk about illusion, talk about dreams, talk about alternated states of reality, just really powerful. Judgment with the Mask, literally talk about removing mask with Judgment. You're meant to remove the masks, look at things as they are. Wake up, Pearl. This is the vibe. They're just really wonderful together, not just aesthetically speaking, but also in the sense of reading, you know, in the sense of meaning. We have Eight of Swords and Lure. What have you been caught up with, and what lured you into feeling stuck? What lured you into feeling bonded? What lured you into losing a sense of self-preservation or of agency, right? Talk about looking at potentially traps that you've fallen into and how you can get out of them. Just so good. So there you go. That was the Pink Sugar Oracle preview of the upcoming Kickstarter campaign. I am been really enjoying this deck, as you've seen from all the pairings I've shared with you, and for just all the joy and guidance it's brought to me this recent week. Again, I want to say a huge thank you to Logan for sending this my way. I'm gonna make sure to put the Kickstarter in the description box. This deck deserves to be brought out into the world. Logan has successfully funded many Kickstarters, so you don't have any worry here. I personally backed their latest Kickstarter, the Black Salt Oracle, and it was one of the smoothest Kickstarter campaign I participated in. So I think even if it's your first Kickstarter ever, don't worry. They know what they're doing. They're very good at keeping you informed, at giving you updates, and it's such a joy to be able to support talented artists such as them. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've made it this, I want to thank you so much for hanging out. Of course, if you want to see how this reads, you make sure to check out my other channels, the Waves of Your Soul readings, as I'm loving this one so much. I'm definitely going to be using it in future pick a card. And until my next video, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!